couple of lollies here which we can take to be the calf's testicles, and I've got a bag that we can say is the scrotal sac. So if we put the two testicles into there like this, so that's basically the calf's testicles with in the little sack. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Richard on the old John Deere. I'm here out in the field with these autumn calving girls, the calves there running about. Well, the other day one of the viewers was talking to me and he said, what's the difference between a bull and a bullock? He didn't understand when I was saying bullocks, he didn't know what the difference was. Well, the difference is basically a bull is an entire male that's used for breeding, and a bullock is a bull that's been castrated so that he can no longer breed. It stops the hormones, so in theory the bullocks are quieter than bulls, not as aggressive, so they're easier to handle. We don't want our calves breeding our cows because that's too much inbreeding. We need to, that's why we buy a bull in every so often, so that we're getting different genetics into the herd. Because all our cows are homebred, we can't keep our own bulls to breed our new cows. All our bull calves are castrated to make them into bullocks, or some people know them as steers, which is basically a bull that's been castrated, so they can no longer breed, they no longer produce all the hormones which are gonna make them more aggressive and more difficult to handle. So that's basically why we do it. And these guys out here have all had rubber rings put on. Now if you're castrating them with a rubber ring, that has to be done within the first week of life, or that's the rules in the UK here. They're supposed to be done within the first week of life. If we don't get them done, then the next option is to use burdizzos, which I'll show you later. And they can be used up to 2 months of age. Anything over 2 months of age has to be castrated using local anaesthetic. It's supposed to be done by a vet, and it's done with a knife. You basically cut into the scrotal sac and remove the testicle completely, so that means it's gone. But that has to be done by a vet, which is all extra cost. So we like to get them done, we band ours with rubber rings in the first week if we can, and if we miss any, well, they get done with the burdizzos before they're 2 months old. So hope that makes sense. I'll give you a little demonstration. When we castrate our little calves, these are what we use, little rubber rings. And to apply them, I have a pair of pliers like this. The rubber ring goes over there. And then when you squeeze the pliers together, that opens up and you can slide your testicles into there and let it close down. I'll give you a little demonstration. I've got a couple of lollies here which we can take to be the calf's testicles, and I've got a bag that we can say is the scrotal sac. So if we put the two testicles into there like this, so that's basically my calf's testicles with in the little sac. So there you go, these are my calf's testicles. So we squeeze our pliers like so, and then you just drop. You have to make sure you've got them both in there, and then you open the pliers, just run the ring off there, and that will stop the blood supply to the testicles and the scrotal sac, and after a while these will shrivel up and drop off, and there you have your bullock or your steer, whatever you want to call it. So it's as easy as that. Much easier doing it like this than trying to do it on a calf, but that's basically the theory. Nice and easy. That's what we do with our little calves. You're allowed to do that up until a week old, so they need to be done within the first week of life, and that's very effective. You just have to make sure you've got both testicles in, otherwise it will still be fertile. A rubber band on, so that will stop the circulation to them, stop him growing up to be a bull. If any of them are, if I miss getting them done in the first week, the next step is to use a pair of pliers like this. These are called burdizzos, or bloodless castrators. So basically a pair of pliers, and there's a notch on the end there, so you can get the cord which comes from the testicle into there, and you close it down, and when you close the pliers there, that crushes the cord and stops, it breaks the cord there, so it stops the blood supply, again cuts off the blood supply to the testicle, so the testicle won't grow. So basically you've got your bullock, and it's recommended that you do them twice. So you do them once higher up, and then you move the pliers down and you do it again at one side, and then you do the same at the other side. Now if we have a look at my lolly stick here, you can see, hopefully you can see, that's crushed what would be the cord there, but it hasn't broken the outside bag, so it hasn't broken the skin. So basically it's bloodless, but that is stopping the blood flow to the testicle so it won't develop. So that's nice and straightforward. And you would do the same at the other side. We'll just do the other side as well while we're here. Just to show you that you open your pliers, lay the cord onto there, and the stop on the end of the pliers stops it sliding off, and then you close the pliers down, and that nips your cord. Let it off and move it down, move your pliers down a little bit, and same again. So there you go, you've got that boy castrated. And you haven't broken the skin, so there's no infection going to get in there. And those testicles will shrivel up because you've cut off the blood supply to them. So basically, he's now a steer or a bullock. Also this week I've brought in the spring calving ones. So they're inside, they're getting a bit of big bale silage at the moment. It's quite dry, but they're enjoying it. And the calves are still with the cows. These are bullocks and heifers. The bullocks are bulls that are being castrated, as we've just shown. And heifers are basically young females. When does a heifer become a cow is the usual question. And usually after she's had a calf, she stops being a heifer and she becomes a cow. But we tend to look at heifers, it's still a heifer until it has its second calf, because we tend to class our first calving animals, if they've only had one calf, they're still basically a heifer. I'm not sure that's technically correct, but that's the way we look at it. Our first, she'll be a heifer with a calf rather than a cow and a calf. But these guys seem fairly happy in here. I hope you found that interesting this week. Hope you've learnt something. And if you haven't, I hope you still found it interesting anyway. For this week, I think that's about it. Until next week, this is Richard on the old John Deere saying bye for now. Bye you all, bye! This is calf 206. Its front legs are still a little bit bowed. It was like that when it was born. Hopefully those legs will straighten out after a little while when he gets going, but there's still quite a bend on them yet. Hopefully they'll straighten out. That's 880, that's its mother. We'll see how it goes. We'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully I can update you in a few weeks and say it's 100% better.